Hello ladies and gentlemen, Scared2 here bringing you another Minecraft World War II aircraft tutorial. In this tutorial we'll be going ahead and building the Pe-2-110 Pe-2. The Pe-2 was a Soviet twin-engine dive bomber used during World War II. One of the outstanding tactical attack aircraft of the war, it also proved successful as a heavy fighter, as a night fighter, and as a reconnaissance aircraft. The Pe-2 was numerically the most important Soviet bomber of World War II, at their peak comprising 75% of Soviet twin-engine bomber force. The Soviets manufactured the Pe-2 in great numbers, with 11,430 built during the war, than any other twin-engine combat aircraft except for the German Junkers Ju-88 and the British Vickers Wellington. Several communist air forces flew the type after the war when it became known by the naval reporting name as the Buck. So yeah, the Pe-2 here, a very interesting aircraft and one of those aircraft that I think is definitely forgotten a little bit to history, but served a very important part in the Soviet military during World War II. As I mentioned, it was used in several roles, such as a heavy fighter, a night fighter, and a reconnaissance aircraft. The version we have here in front of us is designed to be basically more of the bomber variant with the glass bombardier kind of section in the front, but also can be taken as a heavy fighter as well. So overall, pretty cool aircraft and should make an awesome addition to your worlds if you're looking for another kind of Soviet twin-engine aircraft. We're definitely building up our Soviet air forces quite a bit, and we have quite a few additions lately, so it's nice to again revisit our Soviet lineup with another kind of medium bomber aircraft. Anyways though, let's go ahead and move in and take a look at this build. So starting off with, you'll see here we do have the aircraft in a camouflage. This is done with a light blue underbelly, so kind of the typical light blue underbelly scheme that a lot of the Soviet aircraft went with. I think it's pretty cool personally. And then we have a kind of brown and black camo scheme up on top, which is pretty cool. Again, this is kind of based more off of the War Thunder basic camouflage for the aircraft itself. I think it's pretty cool and looks real neat on this aircraft. So definitely happy we went ahead and included that. But yeah, we have the nose of the aircraft here, nothing too crazy. You have what would be the glass on the bottom here. Unfortunately, just with slabs, we don't have glass slabs, so it can't really represent it with the airbrick slabs. There are doing that representation. We have the cockpit here, obviously has a pilot, and then you have your rear gunner. We have our cabling that runs back here to our vertical stabilizers, pretty small ones, and it is one of those kind of twin vertical stabilizer, horizontal stabilizer type of aircraft. Again, the Soviets really liked this type design and used it on several of their aircraft. But yeah, overall, really nice build. It's a pretty simple and small one. There's also some waist gunners here, which is kind of cool to the sides, and yeah, kind of interesting and all that. Yeah, really cool aircraft. It should make, again, a good addition to your worlds as a, really nice kind of medium dive bomber here for the Soviet Union. With that though, let's go ahead and dive into our tutorial by beginning with our first layer. Alright guys, so moving into our first layer here of the build, we will be going ahead and starting off with layer 2. Now we're starting with layer 2 because we're going to get a better basis of the aircraft built, and then it'll be easier just to go ahead and throw layer 1 on to the bottom of this. A few quick things I want to mention here. First off, if you're completely new to my aircraft tutorials, the way I like to structure these tutorials, I like to do half on camera, half off. What this means, I'm going to build the entire center line of the aircraft on camera, and then the entire right side. It'll be up to you guys to take the right side and copy it over to the left side. Thankfully, this aircraft is, for the most part, completely symmetrical, so whatever we do on one side will be done on the other side unless stated otherwise. In addition, we will be building this aircraft with the blue underbelly, and then we're going to build the top of it just in a solid light brown color scheme. Reason we're doing this is because it's going to basically make it a little bit easier to tutorial, and we'll talk about the camo scheme a little bit later on at the end of the video once we get everything built. This is also going to be for the in-flight model only, due to the fact that it does sit at an angle when it is landed. So again, this is going to be the in-flight model only. With that though, let's go ahead and dive in here to our tutorial. So the first thing we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to place down a row of blue cyan concrete. This here is going to be a long row all the way down the center of the aircraft for a total of 11 blocks. We're going to go ahead and place down 2 upside down pistons going forward for my Java players. If you are not on Java, instead of the pistons, you can use a cyan concrete block and then a prismarine brick upside down stair instead as an alternative to the pistons. We're going to go ahead and place down 2 narrow brick top slabs and then a warped trapdoor on the tip there to go ahead and make the front. Moving to the back, we're going to go ahead and place down 3 upside down pistons. Again, if you are not on Java, you can go ahead and place down a cyan concrete block, then a prismarine upside down stair, so it looks something like this. and then we'd place down our prismarine brick slab. So it looks something like that there instead of the 3 pistons. We're going to go ahead and then place down 3 of our prismarine brick top slabs, and then 2 of these warp trapdoors going back from that. After we have those 2 warp trapdoors, we're going to go to the first one. We're going to build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks out the side, and we're going to go ahead and then grab a spruce wood trapdoor, and again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to place down a spruce wood trapdoor coming off the top side there of that block, and we can go and then delete these marker blocks. Those are going to basically be the start of our vertical stabilizers. Now after that's done, we're going to go and then grab skeleton skulls. We're going to place down 2 skeleton skulls on the side of these 2 pistons here. And we're going to go and then take our prismarine brick slabs and place down 2 top slabs forward, followed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 upside down stairs going forward. We're going to go and then take our wither skeleton skulls. We're going to place down 2 wither skeleton skulls on the side of these blocks. And actually, regarding this section here, we can actually go ahead and instead of doing what we did before, I forgot this is actually going to be the window for the bombardier. We can actually place down a glass block here and then another brick upside down stairs. So you can do that as an alternative, or maybe 2 black stained glass blocks also. So you can go and swap that up again, depending on what you want to do there. But this one here does have the kind of sights window on the bottom for the bombardier. Now with that done, we're going to go ahead and then go to our 4th stair. Going back, we're going to place down a warp trap door to the side, and then 3 top slabs back, and then 3 warp trap doors. We're going to go and then do a warp trap door again, come off this, another 3 of these slabs. This time though, only 2 warp trap doors after that. We're going to go and then place down 2 prismarine brick top slabs, and then 2 warp trap doors back, like so. And then we're going to place down another 2, or my bad, these are actually going to be upside down stairs. So we're going to place down 3 prismarine brick upside down stairs like this. You want the outside of the back of the stair facing toward the outside. After that, we then want to go ahead and grab our cyan concrete, and we're going to place down 3 blocks, 1, 2, 3, on the backs of those stairs like so. We're going to go ahead and then grab ourselves our stripped spruce wood, and we're going to place down 1, 2, 3 blocks of stripped spruce wood going forward. And then on the very front here, we're going to place down a piston like so. You can go ahead and use a upside down spruce wood stair instead as an alternative. And then coming off that piston, we're going to go ahead and place down a spruce top slab like so. After that, we would then want to go ahead and grab ourselves a player head. We're going to place down a player head on both sides of this piston like so. And we then want to go ahead and grab our granite walls. We're going to place down 1, 2, 3 granite walls going alongside those 3 spruce wood blocks. And we're also going to take our prismarine stairs and place down 3 upside down stairs coming off those blue concrete blocks. Then we're going to place down 2 more of these blue concrete blocks back, followed by cyan stained glass panes alongside the blocks. And on the very back here, we're just going to go ahead and grab ourselves our prismarine wall. And we're going to place down a prismarine wall here on the back like so. After that's done, we're going to go ahead and then take our prismarine top slabs, and we want to go ahead and place down 1 and 2 coming off those rear 2 stairs. And then coming off these 2 glass panes, we're going to place down 2 warp trap doors. We're going to go ahead and then place down another 2 prismarine brick slabs, a warp trap door here, and then 2 more going back this direction like so. Or actually, my bad, sorry, only 1 going back like that. We then want to go ahead and grab a dark oak wood trap door. We're going to place down a dark oak wood trap door here to the side. And then we want to go ahead and place down 1 and 2 warp trapdoors back from it, and then there are 2 trapdoors coming off the side. So it will look something like that there for the edge of the wing. And anyways, that right there is going to basically conclude everything we have here for layer 1. We're going to take the same thing we did on the right side and flip it over to the left side. So this right here is what it should look like for the top-down view with layer 2 complete. At this point in time, though, we're going to go ahead and move down to layer 1, add the bottom of our engines on to the aircraft, and basically go up from there. So with that, let's move on to layer 1. Moving into our next layer, we have layer 1. Layer 1's pretty simple. We're just going to be going ahead and adding the bottoms to our engines here. So for these to go ahead and get started with, we're going to place down a prismarine slab that's going to be right here underneath this block. And actually, this block of right here is actually going to be black concrete. So we're going to go ahead and make that quick adjustment real quick. But yeah, we want black concrete here because we will alter this piston later on and create like a little intake that's located right there. So yeah, make sure that's black concrete there, especially if you're on Java. Then after that, we're going to go ahead and place down a piston that's going to go back from this underneath here. Again, this piston can be replaced with a prismarine brick stair like so. Then we're going to go ahead and place down, after this piston, we're going to place down 1, 2, 3 of our cyan concrete blocks, and then we're going to place down cyan stained glass panes on the sides of those 3 blocks, as well as a skeleton skull on both sides of this block right here. On this back section here, we're going to place down again 2 upside down pistons. You can go ahead and modify this by placing down a cyan concrete block and then an upside down stair instead as an alternative. And then on the side of these blocks here, we're going to go and place down skeleton skulls to both sides. And then on the very back here on this full block, we're going to place down a top slab like so. And actually real quick, we're going to go ahead and only place down skeleton skulls on both sides of this block here. This second piston, we're actually going to place down a warp sign on both sides. So again, whether you have the stair or the piston, go ahead and place down that sign to both sides like that. And after we have that all done right there, that is going to wrap up everything we have for the bottom of the engine. So you're going to go ahead and obviously do the same thing to the other side. And once you have both sides done, that's all you have there for layer number 1 of the build. And with that, let's go ahead and move on up to layer number 3. Moving into our next layer here, we're going to be going ahead and moving on to layer 3. For layer 3 to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to place down a stripped spruce wood block. That's going to go ahead and go on top of this trapdoor here. And then we're going to have a total row going all the way back to this last prismarine brick top slab. This here is going to be a total of 22 blocks in length, including that first block there on the front. Once you have that row of blocks placed, we're going to go ahead and then place down a player head that's going to be on the very front here, and that's going to complete the front nose of the aircraft. Going to the rear of the aircraft, we're going to place down a piston right here. This can be substituted for a spruce wood stair instead. For us, though, we'll place down a piston. We're going to go ahead and place down a spruce wood slab, and then we want to place down a block coming off this trapdoor, and on top of that block, we're going to place down a player head. It's going to sit like this, and then we want to delete that slab underneath it. Now for our horizontal stabilizers, we're going to go ahead and go off this piston or this block here with 2 spruce wood slabs. We then want to place down a daylight detector coming off this spruce wood slab here, and then another spruce wood slab like that. And we're going to go ahead and then take our daylight detectors and again place down 2 daylight detectors right here for the leading edge. After that's done, we're going to go ahead and then take our prismarine slabs, and we're going to place down 2 top slabs coming off those 2 spruce wood slabs. And then come off this forward slab, we're going to go ahead and build 1 and 2 more out to the side, so you have a total of 3. We're going to go ahead and also take our warp trapdoors. We're going to place down 2 warp trapdoors here. And on the leading edge, we're going to place down a row of 1, 2, 3 player heads like so, followed by a stripped spruce wood block. And then we want to go ahead and grab brown stained glass panes and place them to both sides of that stripped spruce wood block. So it's going to look like that there for the horizontal stabilizers and what will be our vertical stabilizers. After that, building forward, we're going to place down a brown stained glass block here. We're going to then place down pane, then a red stained glass pane. This can be representative of our Soviet Red Star. And in our brown stained glass pane, a granite wall, a normal nether brick wall, another granite wall, and then we're going to place down a stripped spruce wood block. Now I would recommend here when you place down these stripped spruce wood blocks to try to make sure you place them all the same direction. It's just going to make everything look a lot better texture-wise on the side of the aircraft, so just make sure you keep that in mind. We're going to go ahead and place down a black stained glass block, and then again we're going to take our stripped spruce wood and continue to build this all the way forward until we get to this slab here. So this here is going to be a total of 8 blocks. Then we're going to place down 2 granite walls, then 2 brown stained glass panes, and then on the very front here we're going to go and grab a spruce wood trapdoor, and we're going to place down a spruce wood trapdoor to both sides of this block like that to go ahead and start forming our front nose there. Now with that out of the way, the last thing here is going to be the wings. So for our wings here, we're going to start off by placing down 2 spruce wood trapdoors here, then 2 rows of 2 of spruce slabs back. We're going to go ahead and then place down 2 rows of 2 of daylight detectors, keep them on the day mode, and you will have these trapdoors open underneath them, so just make sure you give those a quick close like so. We're going to go and then place down a chain that's coming off this glass block right here for the waist gun. And for this section here, it kind of is going to be, again, more dependent on what version of Minecraft you're really on. But on Java, we can place down an item frame underneath that chain, and we can place down a brown stained glass pane in it to kind of help, blend it into the wing a little bit better. So I'd highly recommend that. I think it works really well for kind of covering that up. If you want to also, you can replace this one trapdoor with a spruce wood trapdoor. Just kind of depends on what angles you're going to be looking at the aircraft the most to kind of help hide that blue underneath. We're going to go then place down a brown carpet as well on top of that slab there. Now once that's done, we're going to go then take our spruce wood slabs and we're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 spruce wood trapdoors, along this space right here. We're going to go then take our daylight detectors and we're going to go and go off this daylight detector 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and all these trapdoors will open, so just make sure you close them. Again, make sure you also close the ones that are underneath those daylight detectors. Then after that, we're going to go then place down 1 and 2 right here, and then we're going to take our spruce wood slabs and we're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4 out to the side there like so. After that, we're going to go from the spruce wood slab here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way to that point. And then at this point here, we're going to go ahead and kind of start to dive into our engines. Now our engines here, we're going to start off by going to this cyan concrete block. We're going to place down a piston here and then one forward. So you're going to go ahead and basically place down your 2 pistons. You can go ahead and substitute these pistons out for some stripped spruce wood blocks instead. Those would be a good alternative to the pistons. Then we're going to place down 2 stripped spruce wood blocks going forward, and then another piston on top of this one. Again, this can be substituted with a spruce wood stair instead. And then a spruce wood slab coming off that going forward. We're going to go ahead and then place down player heads on both sides of this piston. And then after that, we want to go ahead and grab some brown stained glass panes, and we're going to place down 2 brown stained glass panes alongside those 2 blocks, as well as a player head on both sides of this piston here. And again, take our brown stained glass panes and put them on this side as well. Now, after we have that done, we then want to go ahead and grab ourselves our item frames. And we're going to go ahead and place down item frames alongside these 2 glass blocks. And we're going to go ahead and place down black beds in those item frames rotated sideways. Same thing will be over here on this side as well. Again, rotated sideways. We then want to go ahead and grab our spruce wood signs. And we're going to place down spruce wood signs on the side here of those panes. So just like that. Now, after that's all done, we're going to go ahead and then place down a spruce wood slab that's going to sit here. And then one right there on those. So on top of those 2 prismarine slabs like that. Then over on this side, we're going to place down their spruce wood slab here, a spruce wood slab right there, and on top of that dark oak with trapdoor, we're actually going to be placing down another brick slab. So it's going to sit just like that. After that's done, we're going to take our pistons, and we want to go ahead and place down 2 pistons, so one right here, and we're also going to have one right here. So we're going to break that slab and have one located there. And then a piston here, and this one daylight detector we're actually going to swap out for a spruce wood slab instead. So it's going to look like that there on the wing tip. Now after that, we're going to place down a second spruce wood slab, and then we're going to place down 2 stripped spruce wood blocks like this, and then a spruce wood stair here on the trailing edge. And then going forward from this, we're going to go ahead and just place down a player head on the front of this block like that. Now, an alternative to the pistons here, you really don't have too many options. Most likely, I'd probably recommend just going ahead and placing down some slabs instead of those blocks. Or you can maybe place down slabs for these 2. So these 2 blocks here, you can place down slabs and maybe a full block right there for the wing. So a couple of options there for you. After that, we're going to go ahead and grab our blue blocks here that we're going to need. So we're going to need our cyan concrete, slabs, and trap doors. For this, we're going to go ahead and start off by placing down 2 of our cyan concrete blocks, and then a skeleton skull on the forward side, and then a top slab of prismarine brick on the back side. We're going to place down a top slab here in the front, full block here, and our top slab, so you have that looks like the wing so far. We're going to place down 2 more top slabs, and then a warp trap door. We're going to go then place down a warp trap door, a top slab, and a warp trap door. And then we're going to go do a row 3 of warp trapdoors, and then one coming off the center one, just like that. And that right there is going to basically form up your wing, and with that, that is going to conclude everything we have here for layer number 4 of the build. Looking at it from the top-down view, this is what we should have, or actually I believe that's layer number 3 if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, that is layer 3. So that's it for layer 3. With that, we'll be going ahead and moving on to layer 4. Moving into our next layer here, we have layer number 4 for the build. For layer 4 to begin with, we're going to place down a spruce wood slab that's going to go on top of the second spruce wood block right here. And then we're going to go ahead and place down a piston right behind it. Again, this can be substituted for a spruce wood stair instead. After that, we're going to take our stripped spruce wood logs, and we're going to place down a row all the way down the center here. This is going to be a total of 10 blocks in length back from that piston or that stair in the front. Then we're going to place down a black stained glass block. Then we're going to place down 3 pistons back from that glass block. This can be substituted for a stripped spruce wood full block here, and then 2 slabs going back. But again, we have our pistons, so we're going to place our 3 pistons. We're going to go then place down 2 more spruce wood slabs, and then 2 daylight detectors on the end there to go ahead and bring us to the tail of the aircraft. The tail of the aircraft, pretty simple. We're going to place down a brown stripped spruce wood block on top of this one here for the vertical stabilizer, and then just a granite wall to the forward and aft side of it. And we didn't want to take brown carpet, and we're just going to go ahead and cover up the slabs and trapdoors with brown carpet to go ahead and complete your horizontal stabilizers. Going ahead and starting from this section here, we're going to go ahead and begin by placing down a player head here, and then a player head at a slight angle like that going back from it. So it's going to look like this. We're going to go ahead and then place down 2 spruce wood slabs, and then taking our spruce wood stairs, we're going to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 toward the front, and then 2 brown stained glass panes like so. And we're also going to go ahead and place down a player head on the side here of this piston, so it'll be on both sides like that. After that is all done there, we're going to go ahead and then go out to our wing tips. We're going to need some brown carpet, some spruce wood trapdoors, and some daylight detectors. For this, we're going to place down 1, 2, 3 brown carpets like so. Then we're going to place down a spruce wood trapdoor, 2 brown carpets, 2 spruce wood trapdoors, 1 brown carpet, and then a daylight detector, 2 spruce wood trapdoors back, then 2 daylight detectors, and then 1 out to the side here, and then 1 trapdoor on top of this block here. And we're just going to go ahead and make sure we close all the trapdoors underneath them, just like that, to go ahead and complete that wingtip there. Now, after that's done, that is going to basically wrap up what we have for this. You'll take, again, the same thing that we do on the right side over to the left side. At this point in time, I also want to go ahead and just real quickly cover how to do the rotors, or the propellers, I should say, for the build, and they're pretty straightforward. To do them, very simply, we're going to place down a polished blackstone wall on top of the slab, another wall up, and then a wither skeleton skull on the top there. We're going to go and then go to the sides of this slab on the bottom here, and we're going to go and then continue to go down at an angle like so. Then we're going to place down a temporary block coming off the bottom of this wall, a wither skeleton skull to the side, delete that block, and same thing will be done over here. And we're just going to go ahead and take the same design and copy it over to the other side for our propellers. And really simple stuff. This will, again, kind of form the propellers here for the aircraft engines. And with that, we'll just bring us one step closer to finishing the build off. So pretty simple stuff. We have our propellers in place, and this is what we should have so far for the build. That is going to conclude everything for layer 4, and with that, let's move on to layer number 5. Moving into our next layer, we have layer 5. For layer 5, to go ahead and get started with this, we're going to go ahead and go to the front of the aircraft on top of this spruce wood block, and we're going to place down another brick stair like that. We then want to place down a row of black stained glass blocks back for a total of 4, and then we're going to place down 2 end rods on the very end of that row. To expand upon the canopy, we're going to place down a wither skeleton skull coming off the narrow brick stair, and then 2 black stained glass panes back, a granite wall, and then we're going to place down a player head at a slight angle, like so, on both sides of this black stained glass block, and that's going to complete your cockpit there. After that, we're going to place down a spruce wood button that's going to go on top of this black stained glass block right here. And then going to our vertical stabilizers, we're going to place down a spruce wood block on top of that one, and then a brown stained glass pane on the forward and aft side of it, like so, to go ahead and finish those off. And after you have that all done, that is going to conclude everything we have for layer 5, and with that, we'll go ahead and move into our last final layers. Alright guys, so moving into our last final layers here, we have layers 6 through 8. For these layers to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to go ahead and place down two spruce wood buttons on top of these first black stained glass blocks. We're going to go then to place down a spruce wood fence post, then an end rod on top of that fence post, and then a flower pot on top of that end rod. We're also going to place down another spruce wood button that's going to sit right here on top of this block. Now, we can go ahead and then go to these walls right here. We can place down either a flower pot. If you're on Java, though, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to place down a block that goes up and out to the side, and on the side of that block, we're going to place down a lever. Now, we can go ahead and then type in the command /give at P Minecraft :debug _stick. So this command here, press and enter will give you this glowing stick. What we're going to do is we're going to left click this lever till we get selected face, and we're going to go and set this, right click this, set this to floor, and then we're going to go and left click again, selected facing, and we're going to go and then rotate this around so it points forward. So kind of create this design right here, and you'll do the same thing on both sides. Now once you have that done, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing up here, but this time for a tripwire hook. So we're going to place down a tripwire hook, kind of a block off from this end rod, and we're going to go ahead and then rotate this around so it comes off that, like so. Again, I don't have a good alternative for those of you that cannot do this feature on the iron or on the end rod, but it's just a little minor detail that really isn't completely necessary for the build. So that's a good thing. Then we're going to be going ahead and using barrier blocks. Now, barrier blocks here can be obtained by typing the command in /give at P Minecraft :barrier right here, and this command here, press and enter, will give you this barrier block. Now, they're also known as structure blocks or void blocks on different versions, so you just have to kind of figure out what version your game calls them, but basically they're pretty much just invisible blocks that you can place down stuff on them. So that's what we're going to use here, but we're going to place down a barrier block coming off this end rod, and then to the side of that, we're going to place down a stone button on the sides there. Going back from the stone button, we're going to place down 2 barrier blocks back, and then 2 stone buttons on the side of those blocks. Then we want to go ahead and go for a barrier block off the side of this stone button, and then a stone button come off the side of that. We're going to go ahead and drop down from this barrier block and then go back by 1. So it's going to look like this, and then a stone button on top of this barrier block here. We're going to go out to the side from the barrier block with 1, and then a second one back, and we're going to place down buttons on top of those 2 barrier blocks. So it's going to look like that so far. Then we're going to go ahead and go out to the side here again, and back 1, and then 2, and we're going to place down stone buttons on the side of those 2 blocks. After that is done there, we're going to go ahead and we're going to swap out we're actually going to move the stone buttons to the inside here. So we're going to do stone buttons on the inside, like that. Then we're going to go ahead and go out to the side here again with 1 barrier block, and then a stone button on the inside, like so. Then we want to drop down from this barrier block, like so. And we're going to go ahead and place down a stone button. We're going to go and go out to the side here again with 1, and then 2 back, so it should bring us to our vertical stabilizer, and we're going to place down our 2 stone buttons on top of that. And that right there is pretty much all you need to do. One thing also I'm going to change up here is I'm going to go ahead and delete this button here. I'm going to place it on the other side. So it's going to look something like that there for your cabling. And that's going to run from that portion all the way back here to this section here, and kind of connect up to the vertical stabilizer. And then lastly, you'll just place down a spruce wood trapdoor on top of this block right here, and that is going to pretty much finish off your cabling there. And with that, what we have for this layer. Now, just a few quality of life things real quick. For my Java players, we can go ahead and then take our debug stick, and we can go and left click our pistons. We're going to go ahead and get to the prompt selected extended false. We'll right click it, and we'll do this for every single one of our pistons. And what this is going to do is it's going to remove that wood portion, which kind of helps create a different height block, which really helps with our shaping. And we're going to go and use this for every single one of the pistons that we placed on the aircraft. So we placed down quite a bit on this one, so just make sure that you go ahead and hit them all up and get all the pistons transferred over. Just a little quick side note that if you do end up breaking a block or placing a block next to any of these pistons, they will revert back. So if you do want to do the camouflage, you may want to hold off on doing those pistons, just because they will all go back to the original state looking like that if you break or update a block around the space that they are in. So just keep that in mind going forward. But that right there is pretty much it for the main build. We do have one small thing we're going to do real quick, which is going to be the banner for the Soviet star that's on the vertical stabilizer. But after that, we're going to be moving into the camo and wrapping up the tutorial. So with that, let's move on to our banner. Alright guys, so to go ahead and make this star banner, we're going to be going ahead and using a loom. And we're going to be using a red banner, 4 brown dye, 2 red dye, and this banner pattern. This here is going to be the flower charge pattern. Just a quick little side note, if you want to go ahead and also make a black banner, you're more than welcome to. You'll follow the same steps, just using black dye instead of brown dye. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into our loom. We're going to place down our red banner as well as our brown dye. We're going to do a line that goes horizontally for the center of the banner to create this design here. We're going to remove the brown dye, put the red dye back into the banner, and then our banner pattern. We're going to get this flower charge pattern that's going to look something that looks like this. We're going to go ahead and grab this pattern, place it back into our loom, and remove our red dye and the banner pattern. We won't be needing that any further. We're going to place our brown dye back into the loom. We're going to do a line that goes horizontally across the top of the banner like so. And then we want to go ahead and then put our red dye back in, and we're going to go and do the diamond shape like this. So we have this diamond shape that's going to create the top of the star there. We'll put our brown dye back into the banner. We're going to go and then do the triangle that comes up from the bottom. So like this. Create this banner here. And then we're going to go and take our brown dye, and we're going to go and just do the horizontal line across the bottom of the banner like this. And we get this brown banner with a red star. And this is going to go ahead and go on the side of our vertical stabilizers on the outside to go ahead and obviously continue to reinforce that Soviet aircraft markings. Anyways, though, that is it for the banners, and that's it for the main build. At this point in time, I am going to go ahead and cover the camouflage. Those things does actually look pretty good with the two-tone, with the brown and the light blue underbelly. But I will be going ahead and showing you guys how to go about setting up the camouflage for this aircraft. So when it comes to the camouflage for this aircraft, I'm not going to go ahead and show a block-by-block tutorial because it's just pretty straightforward. You're really just swapping out blocks and just kind of making it look camouflage, really. And you'll see here that I went ahead and basically used black mixed in with our brown. Now we don't have to worry about the brown because the brown's already done, but basically the blocks you're going to use replace any zombie head or any of the player heads or whatever will be replaced with their skeleton skulls, any trapdoors with our dark oak trapdoors, any glass panes with black stained glass panes, any granite walls with the polished blackstone walls, any spruce stairs, slabs, full blocks will be either black concrete or the polished blackstone stairs and slabs. So just keep that in mind going forward. That is going to be what we're using to transform over the colors. And you can see I really didn't do anything too crazy. The aircraft kind of kept more of a brown tone, but the black was just kind of mixed into it. Definitely more of like a 66% of that brown and 33% of the black. So just kind of keep that in mind going forward, but you're basically just doing some small segments of black. So you have a black tip nose on this one. Again, I used the War Thunder model for basically inspiration or for designing this. We have a stripe that just kind of wraps from the start of the left wing all the way around to this side here, and feel free to pause at any point if you do want to copy my camouflage block by block. You can definitely do that. We have a little stripe here in the tail section, some stripes in the horizontal stabilizers, and just a little bit in the black. But again, I didn't want to cover this top here because we have that banner there, and I felt it looked a little funky. As you can see on this side, it just doesn't look as good as having it just solid brown up on top there. And you can see a little bit black in the wings, and that's pretty much that. So it's really straightforward. It's a small plane, so it won't be too difficult. Just go ahead and replicate the camo over. But that right there is pretty much what I did to go ahead and do the camouflage. And with that, that's going to wrap up my tutorial here for the Pe-2. Hopefully you guys do enjoy this build and are able to put it to good use. If you do use this build, I do ask that you guys give me proper credit for it. This will be a link from a side of the build to my channel or this video if this does appear in social media sites. As long as you guys give me proper credit for it, you're free for a project you guys are working on. Overall, thank you guys again so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This is Carry 2x4, and I'll see you guys next time.